Okay, working fine. Okay, great. Um, got web dev. Hmm. Okay then. Hmm. I think I was almost finishing the smart chapter 9. Hmm. Okay, field set. The field set element indicates a logical group of form controls. A field set may also include a legend element that provides the caption for the enclosed fields. Is there a shortcut for highlighting? Is there a shortcut? No? Okay. So we have label ID form. I can put a form ID. Then I can label for, and then I can define the type with the ID. Okay, figure 19, 919. Where is 919? Okay. Figure 919 shows the default rendering of the following example, but you could use style sheets to change the way the field sets and legends appear. Okay, field set, legend, mailing list, sign up. Okay. Then we define an unordered list, and I use input radio type. Oh, add me to your mailing list, input type radio, list value yes. Okay, well, yeah, this value gets transferred in the post or get. No thanks. And preset customer information, input type text, name user. Okay, label. I forgot why did we use label. Okay, the label element associates descriptive text with its respective form field. This provides important context for users with speech-based browsers. Okay. The field sets and legend tend to throw some curve balls when it comes to styling. For example, background colors and field sets are handled differently from browser to browser. Legends are unique in that their text doesn't wrap. The solution the solution is to put a span or p element in them and control presentation of the contained element without sacrificing accessibility. Be sure to do lots of texturing if you style these forms. Okay. Okay, labels and field sets. Our contest form is working, but we need to label it appropriately and create some field sets to make it more usable on the assistive devices. Okay, have I already done 3 exercises? Yep. It's time to do exercise 9.4. And I will copy this. Then we get. I like to start with the broad strokes and fill in details later. So we'll begin this exercise by organizing the form controls into field sets, and then we'll do all the labeling. You could do it. You could do it the other way around. Uh, you could do it the other way around, and ideally you just mark up the labels and field sets as you go along instead of adding them later. Okay. The contents entry form at the top of the form is definitely conceptually related, so let's wrap it. Okay, so we need to open it here. To the left, right. How does it look so far? Hmm. Okay. All right. Mm. Looks, the more you look at it, the more you'll be. So just focus, focus. Okay. So the condensed entry form at the top of the form is definitely conceptually related. So let's wrap it in all field set element. Okay, so I define change the markup of the section title from paragraph to a legend for the field set. Um, change the markup of the section title. Section title. So I defined a section anywhere. I don't get how where in the condensed entropy form will this be. Okay, let me see. Where have we put okay form in the body, right? Then we custom issue design. Okay, condensed entry form, pimp my shares and all. Then okay, double quotes. Have I used double quotes? Yes, I do have used double quotes. And form action in the form. Okay, then in the field set, right? In the field set, right here, form, right within the form field set. Okay, okay, within the form. I have to go within the form. Am I creating another form? At the top of the form is definitely conceptually related, so let's wrap it all in a field set element. Okay, so I am wrapping everything field set into the unordered list. Okay, there we go. Field set. Field set. Okay, I put field set, then I put condensed entry information as legend. Okay, the condensed conceptually related, so let's wrap it all. Okay, so I bring this in the legend instead of a paragraph. This is the legend, right? Next, group the color features. Group the color features and size questions in a big field set with legend custom shoe design. Okay, so it wants field set. then we get a field. Fields. Where it is supposed to go down. Forward slash. Oh, backslash. Okay. Then I would need to put it in legend. Right. There we go. Okay. Legend. Color, features, size. Create another field set just for the color option, again changing the description in a paragraph to the legend. Do the same for the features and size sections. In the end, you will have 3 field sets contained within a larger custom shoe design field set. Okay. Okay, so I have to create a field set here. And basically this this is supposed to be a legend. Again, what were the legend? Provides a caption for the enclosed fields. Okay. Provides a caption, field set, and again I have to start a field set. Shouldn't have done that. Then we go field set, we shift everything, and we turn this into legend. It is a caption. Then I have to create another field set. Then I close this field set. And this, why have I closed this? Oh, this is to be enclosed within a legend. And I'm done here. Next. Okay, now let's get some labels in there. In the contest entry information field set, explicitly tie the label to the text input using the for id label method. Label for form name, label, time. Okay. So I have to do this here, label, right? How do I go? I go list element, label for form name, label, then I go for form dash name, dash name, and close it label. Okay. Label for form name, then I close the label, right? Name label. Then within the input, I send name text, name username, and then I provide an ID form. I label to text input. Okay, so I can go include it within a label, right? For form email, right? Then I close the label here. then I say id equals form dash email. Same with the state, include it within a label. Say for form state, enclose it within a label. Then I define id equals form dash state. Sure, that's so old. Okay, this is done. And for the radio and checkbox inputs, wrap the label element around the input and its value label. In this way, the button will be selected once the user clicks or taps anywhere inside the label element. Okay, and it's valid. Alright, so I have box radio label. Okay, red label and align. Is that right? Save a document and you're done. Labels don't have any effect on how the form looks by default, but you can feel good about the added semantic value you've added about the added semantic value you've added, and maybe even use them to apply styles at another time. Alright, so I have to just finish putting labels here. I think I should put label here too. That's it. Let me try this, and it looks nice. It's all within a field set. Looks good. Hmm. 2007. Okay, form layout and design. I can't close this chapter without saying a few words about the form design. Even though this chapter is about markup, not presentation, usable forms, a poorly designed form can ruin a user's experience on your site and negatively impact your business goals. Badly designed forms means lost customers, so it is critical to get it right. Both the desktop and for small screen devices with the special requirements. You want the path to a purchase or the actions to be as frictionless as possible. The topic of a good web form is the topic of a good web form design is a rich but one that could fill a book in itself. In fact, there is such a book, Web Form Design, within Read Media, by web form experts Luke Broblewski, and I recommend it highly. Luke's subsequent book, mobile first book about it. Includes tips for how to format forms in a mobile context. You can browse over hundreds articles about the forms on their website. Here I'll offer just a very small sampling of tips from web form design to get you started, but the whole book is worth a read. Avoid unnecessary questions. Right. Help users help users get through your form easily as possible, but not including questions that are not absolutely necessary to the task at hand. Extra questions, in addition to slowing things down, may take a user's vary of your motivations for asking. If you have another way of getting if you have another way of getting the information, for example, the type of credit card can be determined from the first four numbers of the amount, then use alternative means and don't put burden on the users. If there is information that might be nice to have but is not required, consider asking at a later time after the form has been submitted and you have built a relationship with the user. Consider impact of label placement. The position of the label relative to the input affects the time it takes to fill out the form. The less the user's eye need to bounce around the page, the quicker the form completion. Putting the labels above the respective fields create a single alignment for faster scans and completion, particularly when asking for familiar information. The name address. Top position labels can also accommodate top positioned labels can also accommodate labels of varying lengths and work best on narrow, small screen devices. They do result in a longer form. However, so if vertical space is a concern, you can position the labels to the left of the inputs. Left alignment of the labels results in the slowest form completion, but it may be inappropriate if you want the user to slow down or be able to scan and consider the types of information required in the form. Choose input types carefully. As you've seen in this chapter, there are quite a few input types to choose from, and sometimes it's not easy to decide which one to use. For example, a list of options could be presented as a pull-down menu or a number of choices with checkboxes. Weigh the pros and cons of each control type carefully and follow up with user testing. Group related inputs. It is easier to parse the many field. It is easier to parse group related inputs. It is easier to parse the many fields, menus and buttons in a form if they are visually grouped by related topic. For example, a user's contact information could be presented in a compact group so that 5 or 6 inputs are perceived as one unit. Usually, all you need is a very subtle indication, such as fine horizontal rule and some extra space. Don't overdo it. Clarify primary and secondary actions. The primary action at the end of the form is usually some form of submit button, buy, register, etc. that signals the completion of the form and the readiness to move forward. You want the button to be visually dominant and easy to find. Aligning it with the main axis of the form alignment is helpful as well. Secondary actions tend to take a step back, such as clearing or resetting the form. If you must include a secondary action, make sure it is styled to look different and less important than the primary action to the action. Styling forms. As we've seen in this chapter, the default trending of form markup is not up to par with the quality we see on most professional web forms today. As for other elements, you can use style sheets to create a clean form layout as well as change the appearance of most form controls. Something as simple as nice alignment and a look that is consistent with the rest of your site can go a long way towards improving the impression you make on a user. Keep in mind that form widgets are drawn by the browser and are informed by operating system conventions. However, you can still apply dimensions, margins, fonts, colors, borders, and background effects on the form elements, such as text inputs, select menus, text areas, field sets, labels, and legends. Just be sure to test in a variety of browsers to check for unpleasant surprises. There's some specific. Okay, a form accessing a post, a form of sending t-shirt artwork to the printer, post, a form search of archived, get, form collecting long essay entries, post. I can also use, but I think post is usually way better. Yeah. Okay, so we're done here.